Playoffs start tomorrow, so I thought, let me make this video, if you could tell by the title, about something a lot of people have been talking about. And let's make the picks for the playoff game. What is up, Fin fans? And potentially football fans, depending on if you care about me picking the playoff games, which a lot of you guys did. Got an emphatic yes. Hey, talk about the playoff games, pick the playoff games. So what I'm going to do is before each of the playoff weekends, I'm going to pick the games. And then after the playoff games, I'll give a roundup about what happened and what I think about what happened. Not necessarily going to live stream the games. For one, I now have a baby girl. You guys already know this, 3 weeks old, and she needs more of my attention. And if the Dolphins aren't playing, I ain't live streaming for the most part. We'll see how it goes as the season goes on. But in this video, if you can tell by the title, there has been rumors and talks about Deshaun Watson wanting a trade. And then my comment section, my Twitter, everything's been blowing up with, should the Dolphins do it? I haven't heard any really national media talking about the Dolphins doing it, but I'm hearing a lot of people in my comment section, like I said, Twitter, talk about if the Dolphins should do it. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to make my picks for this weekend's games. Before we jump into that, I got some new patrons I have to shout out. First is Sir Mingus Do the Fourth. So there's a long lineage of, Mingus Do, and especially because he's royalty, Sir Mingus Do, one of my Patreons, and Clay Beer-Juden. Thank you guys so much for joining the Patreon. If you guys want to join, it's linked below. I actually just dropped a video yesterday, just specifically for the Patreons. So if you guys want to join, that is linked below. Also, Patch Vibes. You got to check them out, patchvibes.com. I use the promo code FREEPATCH. You get the 25th anniversary patch for free with your order. But let's jump into this. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson first. So NBC Sports, ESPN, a ton of different people have talked about the fact that supposedly with the new GM, with the way that the coaching and the hires are going, that Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston. It's a rumor. There's also some people saying that that's a rumor and he does not want out of Houston. So there's that, right? So that comes up, hey, potential young top quarterbacks wanting to test the market and get traded. Of course, people are going to be saying, hey, should the Miami Dolphins go after him? Should the Miami Dolphins grab him? Kid's 25. He's still very, very young. He's only been in the league for, 4 years? Very, very young. So we're going to talk about in full depth, should the Miami Dolphins trade for him? We're going to talk about his contract. We're going to talk about his play. We're going to talk about his injuries because he has a ton of injuries. So it's something we need to talk about. We're going to talk about his injuries. We need to talk about this kid's cost of the trade and how the trade might hurt us. So first things first, let's talk about his contract because a lot of people want to bring in Deshaun Watson because the kid's dynamic. Again, we'll talk about his play. But people want to forget about his contract. In 2021, the kid is due of a cap hit of $15 million, right? With a dead cap hit of $67 million, which means you ain't cutting the man unless you want to pay him $67 million. So $15 million for this style of quarterback, for this young kid of a quarterback, not bad. Not bad at all. 2022 and 2023 is where it's going to kick you right in the butt. Specifically in 2022, next year, if the Dolphins do end up trading for Deshaun Watson, and if the Dolphins do end up pulling off some type of trade for Deshaun Watson, he is going to be a cap hit of $40 million. $40 million. We're going to have to compare him to Tua. Tua's cap hit is nowhere near that amount of money. But also, we don't know what Tua can do yet. We know what Deshaun Watson can do. So, but $40 million cap hit in 2022. And if they will say, he's been injured all 2021, we don't want to stick with him. Well, you're going to be paying him $51 million because that's his dead cap hit. And then in 2023, a cap hit of $42 million and a dead cap hit of $10 million. So even after 2022, say in 2023, they want to move on from him, you're still paying him $10 million in dead cap money, which is a substantially good player. So that's the thing you also have to think about for trading for Deshaun Watson. Yes, he's a very young, very good. Again, we'll talk about the stats literally in 2 seconds. But his contract after this year, after this upcoming season, is ridiculous. They're going to be paying, the Dolphins will be paying him $82 million over 2 years. Is he worth that amount of money? Well, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about his stats because everyone wants to talk. This year, he did fantastic. This year was his best year. He didn't do great in the win-loss scenario, but that maybe has some to do with the defense, some to do with him. But if you look at it, 4,823 yards. He threw for 33 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. A very, very good touchdown interception ratio. And then if you look at his full career, right? In his rookie year in 2017, he only played 6 games. In 2018, he played a full season. Last year, 2019, he missed a game. This year, he played a full season. But you look at his stats, they're all very good. Rookie year, 19 touchdown, 8 interceptions. Second year, 26 touchdown, 9 interceptions. His 2019 season, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Like I said, this year, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So he had a very, very good year this year. So a lot of people say, well, we should go after him. But here's the thing, man, right? Man, where did that come from? Here's the thing. He has a little bit of injury history, right? You go back to college. He sustained a slight crack in his collarbone in 2014. He sat out 3 games before returning to Georgia Tech with the fracture in his hand. He suffered a sprained left LCL, which took him out of the game versus Georgia Tech. In 2014, also, he had an ACL tear grade in his knee. And then in 2017, his rookie year, he tore his right ACL. So he tore his left ACL in practice. And then in 2017, he tore his right ACL in practice. So both of his knees are ACL torn, fully, having to deal with that. Then in last season, 2019, December 25th, he had lower lumbar sprain. So he had to, against the Titans. He was active and served as a backup to A.J. McCarron in that contest. So he does have a little bit of a injury history, especially with those ACLs and especially with those knees. So looking at this kid's dynamic. This kid is, he's already shown the past 3 seasons. We're going to take his rookie year, throw it out because he had the ACL injury that knocked him out for most of the season. Last 3 years showed he could do really well. This past year showed he could do really, really well. And a lot of people are talking about, hey, we should bring him in. We'd be instant, division winners, guarantee, not guarantee, but top division winner potential. Get to the, so much can be done with him, right? Here's the thing. The main reason why he supposedly is having trouble is because he doesn't like the GM that was hired, Nick Caserio, which, fun fact, the Dolphins brought him in for an interview before they brought in Chris Greer. He doesn't like him. And a lot of people are like, let's give Tua and let's give a first and a second this year. That would be fantastic if Bill O'Brien was still their head coach / GM. But if you want Deshaun Watson, who is a young guy who has done fantastic things, now his contract will bring down how much the teams are willing to give up for him because that's a big fat amount of money. But the youth and the productivity of him shoots up the trade value, right? So I'm reading a lot of you guys are saying, let's send Tua and a first and a second. We still have another first and a second. We could do like I said, Texans don't have Bill O'Brien running their team anymore. That ain't going to fly because they traded DeAndre Hopkins for beans. That ain't going to fly. So if the Texans are going to move on from their franchise future all-around really good quarterback, it's going to take more than a first and just a second. It's going to take a buttload of draft picks and Tua, or the 3rd overall pick and more, because if they're going to get rid of their quarterback and try to start over, they're going to want their 3rd back so they can pick their quarterback, or they want Tua. So you're going to have to give up a buttload to get him. Here's where I'm like, first off, Not saying Deshaun Watson isn't fantastic. Not saying he didn't have a fantastic year. Not saying he isn't a young and up-and-coming, going to be a really good quarterback. Here's where my thought process is. One, he's coming from the Houston Texans where he had to do everything, where he got 4 wins and he had to literally put the team on his back, and he still only got 4 wins. Could that be because of the defense? Could that be because of the lack of weapons on the offense? Maybe both. I'm pretty sure he wasn't happy that they sent Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins walking. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of moves that he would have liked them to do to give him some weapons. A lot of people want to talk about, if Tua is so good, why does he need so many weapons? Some great quarterbacks don't need a lot of weapons. Yeah, that's true. But if you're a young and up-and-coming quarterback, and maybe I have to make a video about this, but I don't understand why I would need to, sometimes you need some type of weapon, some type of wide receiver, running game, offensive line. He'd be coming into the Miami Dolphins, a team that needs maybe 2 or 3 wide receivers, a starting running back, maybe 2 offensive linemen, because the offensive line was ranked 28th out of 32. The wide receivers, we have Devontae Parker, who's back to being injured. We have Preston Williams, who's never played a full season. We have Jakeem Grant, who can't catch a ball if his life depended on it, also gets injured consistently. We'll see what happens with Albert Wilson. We'll see what happens with Allen Hurns. Who do we have? And yes, we have Perry, we have Bowden Jr., we have, we just signed Kirk Merritt to a future contract. But wide receiver-wise, we have injured-prone wide receivers. Matt Collins did fantastic for us, but he also dropped a ton of balls for Fitzpatrick. So we'd be trading the house for Deshaun Watson to come into the Miami Dolphins organization, be our star quarterback, be our future quarterback. But just so you know, you have no weapons. You have no offensive line, and you have no run game. Win us some games, please. Do it for us. Oh, you want us to draft you some players? You want us to draft you some, help? Well, we can't, because we gave everything up for you. So you need to now bail us out. See what I'm saying? And that's where I'm like, I would prefer to stack this team up with talent. There's a reason the Dolphins got as many picks as they want. There's a reason that the Dolphins could potentially move back from 3 and get even more firsts in next year or more picks this year to continue to build talent onto this team for the future. Because for the next 4 years, this talent is going to be good, cheap talent like we have now. Why not do that? Bring in the wide receivers, bring in the running backs, bring in the stud offensive linemen, bring in the stud defensive linemen, build this team up to being future contender teams that are young and up and coming. We won 10 games with the second youngest team in the NFL. If we keep building this way, we're going to win more than 10 games with the youngest team in the NFL. Why not continue to do that? Why change what we've done? This offseason, if we made this big blockbuster trade for Deshaun Watson, it'd be completely changing what the Dolphins have done for the past offseason, which has brought us a lot of success. That's my whole thought process on it. Why not take the amount of picks we would need to give up for Deshaun Watson, who, again, I'm not saying wouldn't make this team instantly better, wouldn't make the quarterback position instantly better, and isn't that good of a quarterback. Why not take the amount of trades and cap space we'd have to give for Deshaun Watson and put that towards building this team up to be an all-around great player, not a team with a great quarterback and everything else is... You better hope and pray that these guys are going to catch the ball on you, Deshaun Watson. If not, you're going to be pissed. See what I'm saying? Or you better hope and pray that this offensive line is going to block for you, because if not, you're going to tear another ACL. This is what I'm talking about. Again, I just don't see it happening. Deshaun Watson is very good, but I just don't see it happening. It just doesn't make sense right now. Be sure to comment below. I'm really interested in what you guys have to think. I know a lot of you guys, obviously I made this video because of you guys. I know a lot of you guys want Deshaun Watson. A good amount of you guys don't like Tua. I don't understand. Give the kid a chance. But be sure to comment below. And I'm going to make my picks for the playoffs, right? We're going to go through the playoff schedule real quick. I'm going to make my picks. There's only going to be 6 games this weekend. I actually have the spread now, so I could tell you guys who is what with the spread. Start with tomorrow's game, 1 o'clock. The Colts taking on the Bills. This is a very big game. Bills haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. Bills haven't won the division in 25 years. So this is a very big game for the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are actually giving up 6.5 points. They are home. Supposedly the Bills are going to have fans in the stands. I'm actually going to go. I think this is going to be a close game. So if you're going with the points, say you're betting, points, give or take, I'm actually going to go with the Colts for the points. So I do think that the Colts are going to keep this a close game. So with the Bills giving 6.5, I think that the Colts will be able to cover that. And I think that you should go with the Colts for the points. But I do think that the Bills are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Bills might win by like 3 because both the Colts defense is good. The Colts offense is all right. The Bills offense is very good. The Colts defense is all right. So it's that dynamic. So I think it's going to be a very close game. Again, points going Colts, Bills win the game. Then we have the Seattle Seahawks who are giving 3.5. They are home taking on the Rams. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks in both. I think it's another game where the Rams don't have their starting quarterback. So I'm going to go with Seattle in this one. I think Seattle will win by about a touchdown. So again, Seattle's giving 3.5. I'm going Seattle both. Then we have Tampa Bay heading to Washington to take on the Washington football team, the division winner 7-9. The Washington's actually getting 8. I'm going both on this one. I think that the Tampa Bay is going to beat the Washington football team by at least 10. So I'm going Washington with both points and game. Then we have the Ravens going to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Ravens are giving 3.5 in this one. This is one that is very intriguing to me. I have a hard time going with this one. I wrote down both for Tennessee because Tennessee is getting 3.5. So I think that Tennessee will win, and I think they'll win by about 4. But this game can go either way. This game can really go either way. It depends on what Ravens defense shows up and what Titans defense shows up. Because if the Titans can stop Lamar Jackson and if they can get Derrick Henry going, then I think they'll win by 4. But if they just can't stop Lamar Jackson and then all of a sudden the Titans get down and they have to put the ball in Tannehill's hands and have him forced to throw a lot, I think the Ravens might come back and take that one. But I'm going to go off the top of my dome, off my heart. I'm going Tennessee both with 3.5 points given to them. Then we have the Chicago Bears taking on the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. This is a game that could be an upset. I think this is the only game that could be a legit upset. The Saints are giving 10 to the Bears. I'm taking the Bears points, but I'm going to take the Saints to win. I think that the Saints might win by 7. I think the Bears defense is a little underrated, especially with Khalil Mack and with Drew Brees still. I'm going to take the Bears with the points, but the Saints to win. And then you got the Steelers hosting the Cleveland Browns in this one. The Steelers are giving 6. I'm going with the Steelers in both. I think the Steelers should win by at least 7 in this one. So I'm going with the Steelers in both. Be sure to comment below. Let me know what you guys are picking. You can go with the points or you could just go with the win or loss. Be sure to comment below. But other than that, I'll make a playoffs reaction video after the games. And then I'm working on the Q&A video. I'm going to get the packages and stuff, so it's a big Q&A end of the year video, and I have a ton of content. We are so close. We're almost 200 away from 20,000. When I break 20,000 subs, I might go live and celebrate with you guys. So be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. But other than that, I'll see you guys probably Sunday with the breakdown of what happened during Wildcard weekend. But like usual, guys, stay classy. Fins up.